Welcome back, guys. Today we will be diving into the history of one of the most important and well-known gaming consoles of all time, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. We'll be going over from its release in the early 90s all the way to how it's holding up today. So make sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy this video on the history of the Super Nintendo.
When you decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come: the games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
In 1990, the Super Famicom was released in Japan. This is the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, but the Japanese version, originally released in Japan before the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The system was very advanced for the time. It had graphics like no other system at the time, especially compared to the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and provided a better game experience to all the retro gamers.
The new Super Nintendo system is out. For those of you who follow the Super Mario series,
After a little long wait, a little bit over a year, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System finally hit the market in North America in 1991, and it came in a different design than the Super Famicom. It had colorful buttons and a very sleek looking exterior. So, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System had a lot of power compared to other consoles of the time. One of these other consoles at the time was the Sega Genesis. So the Sega Genesis had half as much RAM as the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, but it had a faster CPU speed. But it still had a lot less RAM. And the maximum sprites and size of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System was a lot better. So according to the specs, the Super Nintendo, like, it beats the Genesis in a lot of ways, and it absolutely crushes the Nintendo Entertainment System, the original, in so many different ways. It really was a powerhouse of the time. Something that makes the Super Nintendo Entertainment System really, really special is a really special graphics feature, the Mode 7 graphics, which allowed for 3D-like effects, which made games like Mario Kart look kind of 3D when you're turning and stuff, as you guys can see in some of the footage. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System it was incredible, the amount of games that they had on it. It was home to some of the most beloved games in all of history. It was the first console with Super Mario Kart, which everyone loves, and also had the following Legend of Zelda games: Link to the Past. It was very, very important time because so many of the most popular games that are still around today, and you can still play on the modern systems, are on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and that's where they originated. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System was phased out by the Nintendo 64 with actual 3D graphics. A long time after that, after the Super Nintendo was phased out, Nintendo came and made the Super Nintendo Classic, just like they did the NES Classic. And so now that is available with all the games pre-installed on it. I don't know how many games are pre-installed on it. All I know is they are pre-installed on it. So if you're interested in playing these games modern and you don't have the NES and don't want to buy each and every cartridge that you want to play, I'd recommend checking the NES Classic out. But if you're a retro gamer, you gotta stick with the original Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So that's it today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today on the history of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Once again, let me know if you guys like this style of video where I do like a brief history of a console or anything like that, and if you guys want me to continue doing stuff like this. Thanks for watching, guys, and let me know what you think in the comments, and have a blessed day.